Well, Ulysses, we did a positional preview in advance of the 2024 season for first baseman. Now we're going to continue to move around the diamond and talk about the Rays' second base position in competition.
Maybe a little bit less competition at first base, but there are some interesting candidates that we're going to talk about starting right now.
And I hit the wrong thing. Shall we restart it, I guess?
It's fine. I can cut this out.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just want me to play the intro?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're fine.
At least the
we can keep this in. Folks are going to love this organicness.
Yeah, for real. The screen's working fine. Okay.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. All right, previewing the second base position and who the main players and candidates will be for this season. I would say, Ulysses, that we can strongly agree on one somewhat diminutive left-handed hitter, nicknamed Bam Bam, Brandon Lowe. And then after that, there's some guys we also need to know.
Yes. Of course, just like first base had Yandy, but with a little bit more wrinkles due to some of their stuff that we talked about on Monday's episode. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. B-Lowe should be getting the big bulk. Again, he's a lefty bat, so that's the larger side of the platoon. And he's an amazing hitter when he goes.
Yeah.
So he definitely will get the most at bats in that position. However, you've got Curtis Mead, you've got a little bit of Taylor Walls in there, even Isak, Aranda. They're players, they're candidates there too. But I'm gonna make my my point here that I think although there might be 6-7 names that we see playing second base, I feel like it's going to be a bulk of two guys really going for this.
Okay, so Brandon Lowe plus a bulk of two other guys, or Brandon Lowe and one other guy?
Brandon Lowe and one other guy.
Okay. Yeah. And I would assume that other guy is a right-handed hitter, correct?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Do you want to keep playing?
I mean, if we're going down that line, I would say it's either Curtis Mead or Isak Paredes. Those would be my two.
I think it has to be this guy on the screen right there. It's Curtis Mead. When Curtis Mead against left-handed pitching, 267 average and a 130 WRC plus. So in very small sample size, he has matched against left-handed pitching. So we know that Brandon Lowe, the first thing with Brandon is he has faced less and less lefties as years go on, with different degree of success. I think 2022 was an outlier because he did really well against lefties, but less and less at bats against lefties. So that's number one. You have to, make up those at bats somewhere. So you're going to put a righty there. And number two, I feel like, again, we are losing a lot of maybe not firepower, but a lot of offensive prowess by not having our star shortstop, play baseball, maybe ever. So you have to have some offensive punch there, and Curtis Mead can do that when Brandon Lowe is not able to be on the lineup for either injury or because there's a lefty on the mound.
Yeah, and I think that's more of a natural fit too, because I don't see Curtis Mead as a big bopper 25, 28, 32 homer guy like traditional corner infielders are. So I think his offensive numbers should speak for themselves from the second base position. And I think something that we also have to keep in mind and also really focus on is the health and the hopeful health of Brandon Lowe, because having a healthy Brandon Lowe for most of 162, most of the season, solves a lot of issues at the Keystone and up and down the lineup. And I know that, Ulises, you have not been a superior fan of his defensively, but the metrics from 2023 did love him some Brandon Lowe. His fielding run value per Savant was 72nd percentile, and outs above average was 85th percentile. And I should also note this: if you look at some of the clips and highlights, he was making some sick plays, diving to his left, diving to his right, snagging a line drive, turning a double play, really sacrificing his body to go all out. So we saw some impressive stuff from that, as well as what he was able to perform offensively in between some injuries here and there. One injury that ended his season, and another injury that basically eliminated the entire month of June for him. So, and we know that's kind of been the case with Brandon Lowe, back issues, knee issues, wrist issues, whatever it is. But this team goes a long way if you can have Brandon Lowe available for 140 to 150 or, 88 to 92% of the available games.
He's an all-star if he plays a whole season. Like, that's the kind of caliber of player that you have with Brandon Lowe. Now, with the defensive side, I agree with you. 2023 was a much better year defensively for him, especially with the metrics. And I think I have the answer. It's the lack of shifts. I think that really, really helped him defensively. I don't know. It's because if it's his range or because of some positional.
It can feel weird when you have to shift all the time. Yeah, if you're just in a more natural, comfortable spot that you've been used to playing since Little League, high school, college, and not having to do all the quirky stuff, I could see how that's a little bit more settling. Because, man, if you just go to his page on MLB.com and look at the stories section, you're going to see him again make some really incredible diving plays and handle some like really tough, awkward hops in the dirt. Like, you look at some of those and some balls that are really hard hitting. It's like, how did he get to that ball, or how did he stop that ball? How did he keep that ball in front of him and make an accurate throw either to the short to start a double play or make a strong throw to first to complete the inning or get the out? Again, not to mention what he was doing offensively when he got into a groove.
No, I think so. And, maybe my issue with his fielding is more of maybe the routine play. I don't know. I would have to go back and see what has been my issue. But yeah, I've never been a staunch supporter of his defense. But I guess I really do think not elimination of the shift, but rather the restriction of the shifts did help him in 2023. So you add the fact that if he's healthy, he's an all-star type player. I think, how long can a peak season go by before we stop referring to it? And by that, I mean, his best season was 2021. The last two have just been meh, really. If you look at the numbers, have been meh offensively. How long of a gap do we stop having to go back? Well, in 2021, he won 39 bombs. Like, is it it's 2024? Is it just enough? Do we still have to go back to 2021? I know it's been injury riddled career for Brandon, but how long is long enough?
That's a good question, and that might be something we dive into here and on future episodes. But Ulises, we have more to discuss on this. But first, we have to tell the audience about something very important, and that is this. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get 150 buckaroos in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Couple things. Looking back at it, he's one of very few players in Devil Rays history who will be entering his 7th year with the organization at the big league level. Like, that is really impressive longevity. And I know his salary is going to be on an upward trajectory, but that is something that, injuries or not, you have to appreciate a guy who's at least done enough or been enough of a good guy to stick around in the organization as long as he has thus far. And
he's a veteran.
In a perfect world,
Yeah.
In a perfect world, if we can have something in between the numbers of 2021 and 2023, that's an all-star season right there. If you add up and average what he did this past season in 109 games and what he did in 2021 in 149 games, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't have the numbers right in front of you, in 2021, he had a 136 WRC plus, 2023, 117 WRC plus. But when you look at the differences between games played, 2021, 149, and in 2023, 109. So when we move on to the question of percentage played for this position, and look, you can call me negative all you want, Kevin, or the peeps at youtube.com/LockedOnRays, and you're hitting that like button and you're hitting that subscribe button right now.
Yeah.
You guys can kill me on the comments saying you're so negative. Oh my gosh. But I'm going to refer us back to our chat with Kevin Goldstein. We were talking about how does a front office go about projecting what a player can give you offensively or pitching wise, defensively, and health wise. And it really is just sitting in a room and having the information of that past performance, past injury report, and then just putting your heads together with the doctor, the team doctor, and the reports, and saying, how much do you think this guy can give you? And I feel like if I was in that room, and maybe this room is this virtual platform between you and I'm projecting Brandon Lowe for just 100 games. I would be happy. I would be happy. I would be ecstatic for 100 games, because I don't know if I can put my hand on the fire for if you're telling me, oh, I would project Brandon Lowe for 130. I don't know if I can. I like my hands, and I like them to not be burned, so I wouldn't do that. 100?
Oh, we're getting into Kevin Kiermaier health territory if we're just getting to the point of every year saying, I mean, it's a good year if he plays 100. That's an issue. That tells me that maybe the Rays are stockpiling infielders for a reason.
Again, he has never played more than 120 games except for one season in 2021. In 2019, 82 games. 2022, 65 games. 2023, 109 games. I know injuries can happen.
2020 was the COVID season. He did play 56 of 60, but it's not the same thing. And that's the thing is, like, he was healthy that entire season, all 60 games, but still, that's where, like, you're not dealing with knees, back, elbow, arm. You're not dealing with injuries. That's what we want from Brandon Lowe. And the other thing too, like, I mean, not to make this a Brandon Lowe episode, but he is a notoriously slow starter. He does get slumpy, and I feel like he does also, at least at the plate, get into his head, which can translate to the defensive side of the ball and vice versa, which obviously are not good qualities. And I think for him, it's just like not having as many shifts. Just keep it simple at the plate. Compact swing, no wasted movement. See a high fastball, swing it, because we know you can hit it out of the ballpark, whether you're pulling it or hitting the other way, or a slider down the middle of the plate. That's kind of your wheelhouse. Just focus on a couple things here and there, and you'll be in good shape. So I guess my question to you, Ulises, is if Brandon Lowe, if you're only penciling him in for 100 games, could be less, could be more, but based on the math, That's probably about, I mean, he's played 504 games over the course of 6 years. So that kind of tracks. Who gets, so are you saying that every time there's a lefty on the mound, just basically give it to Curtis Mead, but when there's a righty on the mound, what do you do then? Do you also give those opportunities to Curtis Mead, or do you do more platooning with a Jonathan Aranda, somebody else?
If Brendan Lowe is healthy and Brendan Lowe does not need a rest day and there's a righty on the mound, you get your butt out there, Brandon. That's who I want to see get those at bats against a righty, and you don't have a rest day and you're healthy. Go get him, Brandon. Like that's you.
Yeah.
The rest for percentage played, if I'm only giving him 100, who's taking the next maybe 60 or so, or how are the other 62 games going to be shared? Well, of course, you guys know me if you've been watching Locked On Rays. I love Excel spreadsheets. So in my Excel spreadsheet, I did a little math, and I saw that in 2023, Aranda played 34 games, only 4 games at second base. Vidal Brujan played 15 games at second base, and Taylor Walls played 37 games at second base. So if we are taking, let's say, Taylor Walls is going to be absent for just the month of April, that's 1/6 of the season. 1/6 of 37 games, that's 6 games. So that means that if you add up Aranda's, Vidal's, and Taylor's, that's 25 games. That's 25 games. I'm strictly just going to Curtis Mead. These are your 25. We don't have these guys, or I don't want these guys to be doing this. Because again, Aranda would be a lefty, so you wouldn't have that. So boom, you have those 25 games. And I'm also adding the fact that Paredes only played 14 games in 2023 as a second baseman. Like, I know we've talked about the versatility, third base, second base, and first base, but he wasn't really used that much in second base. And after a guy puts up the type of season that Isak did, I don't think you're going to be moving that guy so much.
Yeah,
especially
I
in the
think
beginning.
again, I would go to him and kind of say, hey, are you more comfortable just focusing on corner infielder, first base, third base? If that's kind of his wheelhouse, I would try to match that as much as possible. And you're getting to the point where you have, I mean, we can go up and down the list. There's a lot of guys who can handle spot start second base. So it's not like, oh, we have to have Isak Paredes have the ability to play second base. Like, you should be in good enough shape between, and we can get to the dark horses, but we haven't even touched on, Caballero filling in there if needed. And Basabe filling in there if needed. And, we'll get down to a dark horse as well. But I'm with you there that I think that Paredes, it's like, you're a third baseman. You're more or less everyday third baseman, maybe fill in a little bit for Yandy at first, but this could be something where you see some more stable positioning of this guy gets that position, this other guy gets another position. The young players are just all over. The younger players are just all over the place, or the less experienced players, I should say.
The less established players, like, you're the ones that are
do whatever. Move the pieces however you will. So Mead, Aranda, others are getting AB after AB after AB, because it doesn't do them any good to sit on the bench. And if you can't find room for them or a spot for them, it's trade time for somebody.
So, yeah. So when you add up all of those numbers, the Aranda, the Vidals, the Walls, the at least 1/6 of the season, and then the Paredes one, that's about 40 games. That's about 40 games that you can put on Curtis Mead, saying, hey, here you go. So if I'm already putting 100 games on Bilao and I'm saying 40 games on Mead, there's really around 20 games left. Yeah. So I don't think that really is a problem. And if Mead is doing Mead type stuff, which is mash the freaking baseball, I'm pretty sure you're not just going to cap him there. You're going to find more opportunities for him to get those at bats. Is it maybe, hey, let's see how you're faring against this righty. This righty has given Brendan Lowe some fits in the past. Brendan Lowe is against this Kevin Gausman. I don't know the numbers against Kevin Gausman, but Brandon is 0 for 12. Get in there, Curtis. Like those.
Or if he just needs a rest day, maybe that's the point, to give him a rest day too.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I think that makes the big bulk of things being a Brendan Lowe and Curtis Mead platoon very possible.
very good. And yeah, I think Curtis Mead should at least be able to hold fort at that position. Seen some highlights of him handling the backhand and throw, so there's some workability there. All right, Ulises, we have more to discuss, but first we have to tell the audience about something really important.
Yes, and that very important thing is, hey, guess what? We all like to go watch some baseball live, some basketball. Kevin, you love some football, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever it is. Guess what? You have one place where you can get all of these things, and that's Game Time. That is the only ticketing app that can give you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Why? Because you can see the seat, the view of the seats before you buy it. Guess what? And you only have to buy it boop with 2 taps, and then you're done. Okay, they're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. In fact, they have tickets right up to the start of the event, even 1 hour after it starts. So if you want to skip on paying some parking, guess what? Game Time is there for you. So today you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKED ON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, and you will get $20 off. That's awesome. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Getting down into the depth chart, do you have any dark horse candidates for the second base position? We've mentioned Brandon Lowe, of course. We've mentioned Curtis Mead, Jonathan Aranda, Taylor Walls. I even threw out Caballero. I mean, he played 60 plus games in a Mariners uniform at second base, but I think he's more or less penciled in for the shortstop position due to Wall's injury to start the season and the whole Wander Franco legal mess that is. But beyond that, any names that we should keep in tune to throughout the course of spring training?
There might be a name that people are not too familiar with who has played second base since coming into rookie ball in 2018. And every year since, except for obviously the COVID year, has played second base. And his name is Richie Palacios. Now, Richie Palacios is an outfielder. That is his main position. However, like I said, every year in the minors, he has played some second base. 15 games in 2018, 42 games in 2021, 26 games in AAA in 2021 as well. And then in the Major League season of 2022, he had 2 appearances there and then 1 in 2023. So if we add up 100 games with Brendan Lowe, 40 or so games with Curtis Mead, now you have 20 games. I would not be surprised that a Richie Palacios could be that guy too. If his bat is hot, you want him in the lineup, he can get in the lineup that way. And I also have a scribble on my Excel sheet of the 13 position players that could be on the roster. And Palacios has made my list because of this functionality that he can be your outfield. Hey, I need second base to be covered because Brendan Lowe is out or Mead is out or whatever. I can give him in, and then you can still have a potent lineup.
He's built like when I look at him, he gives off second base vibes at 5'10", 180 pounds. Even his stance is almost Roberto Alomar-esque. I don't know. There's something about it where he could fit at the keystone there. Doing a little Mookie Betts action, moving from corner outfield to second base.
Yeah.
It could happen. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him play around there a little bit. So Palacios, over under 6 games at second base for the Rays in 2024.
That's a really good one. I'm going to say, dude, if you put Vidal Brujan for 15 games at second base,
yeah,
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
And something that Mookie Betts pointed out, it's actually a way to playing second base is a way to kind of rest your defenders in a way instead of having to run from corner outfield into the dugout, 30 times over the course of the game. You're really the legwork isn't as much playing second base as it is outfield and having to move around and track balls and all that as well, and moving lots of feet at a full sprint. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, I like that answer.
Who's yours?
That's who it was, Palacios.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if we really want to get cutesy here,
sure,
Greg Jones, but
that is cutesy.
That's way down the line.
Yeah,
and maybe some shortstop, but I still think he has ways to go. I guess we can throw Ulises Basabe, but I would be more intrigued by seeing Palacios at second base versus Basabe.
Me too. I want to see, again, 2024 is a very interesting year because you have the talent to go to the playoffs, but you also can have enough question marks that you can say, what do you have? Jonathan Aranda, finally, what do you have? Show me what you got. Curtis Mead, show me what you got. New guys, Caballero, Palacios, what do you have? What do you have to show me? The roster is filled with quality players, but some of them have question marks because they haven't been there. So I think the 2024 season is going to be really interesting. And like this second base competition, of course, Taylor Walsh is going to get some appearances there. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, who is going to see more time at second base? Second base, not games appeared. At second base, Taylor Walsh or Jose Caballeros?
That's a good point. I would think Taylor Walsh, I guess, because I think Caballero's going to get a lot of run at short.
Yeah.
And hopefully I would hope in a perfect world, a lot of this is moot and that we can just plug in Brandon Lowe against all righties, maybe some lefty, like have him play 145 games. But I know that's not necessarily realistic. I'm rooting for Brandon Lowe to be an all-star this year. I'm rooting for
me too.
Really a show me season. Okay, this is why we nickname him Dog and why we love him, and this is why he signed that long-term contract extension with the organization.
If I could put my hand on the fire for 100 games, what is your put your hand on the fire for Brandon Lowe health-wise?
I mean, probably the same as last year, probably 110.
110.
But I hope it's a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We all hope it's a 162, of course. But yeah, because I don't know, man. So
how about this? Say if Brandon Lowe misses the bulk or entirety of the season, like he's in for a dozen games and then
that's rough.
Ouchies, he's gone. Who is your primary second baseman? Is it Curtis Mead at that point?
Yeah.
Or it's just a rotation of Mead, Aranda, it's like a 4-horse deal.
I think Mead would get the shot of like winning over that position, but you would see Taylor Walsh in there, Ulises Basabe, Aranda. If you like his bat so far, you can be like, hey, dude, okay, we'll stick it there just for 6. But yeah, I think if that were to happen, which would be awful, I think Curtis Mead, because of the prospect pedigree too. Like you're not just going to like ride the bench or the platoon for when you have an opportunity like this. Like you would give it to Curtis Mead.
That's fair. All right. As I did on the first baseman episode, I want you to name me some yearly starters for the Rays organization. I want 5 of them. Give me 5 yearly starters since 2008. Primary guys.
Akinori Wamura.
Yep. First season.
He was Brad listed. Miller.
Correct.
Kelly Johnson.
He is not on this list that I have.
Why do I have this infatuation with Kelly Johnson? Okay.
I don't know. You love Kelly. You love you some Kelly Johnson.
Kelly Johnson. Let's go with show me Logan Forsythe.
Correct. You're missing a big face here.
Big face. Oh, Ben Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist. And then one other guy, more
Give me the year.
recently. Yeah.
Give me the year. What year?
He was with the team through 2019, maybe 2020. I've lost track of time.
Wait, Brendan Lowe he brought up in 2018. So who was with Lowe at second?
I mean, he kind of played around a little bit, but he did play some. It might have been that gap year before Brandon Lowe got
established. So who was the shortstop there? Adana Echeverria before
shortstop / third baseman / second baseman, but he's listed as a second baseman.
I don't know. Who was the double play partner of Echeverria?
I can't tell you, but I can tell you you do know this guy, Joey Wendell.
Yeah. Okay. That hurts.
Yeah,
that hurts.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
All
Joey.
right. Should be interesting to see how all this shakes out with the second base position. Next up, we'll do shortstop, I suppose.
Why not?
Yeah. Keep going around the diamond. And look, normally we would have started with catcher, but we're kind of holding our breath and waiting for the Rays to sign another catcher so we can have a little bit more fun with that one. Because, I mean, it still would be, we got to figure out who the backup catcher is. There's still a lot of discussion regardless of what happens with all that. But, stay tuned for the shortstop positional preview episode. Probably don't expect Wander Franco to get a lot of innings or at bats, just saying. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.